Welcome back, everybody, to the Fantasy Hockey X podcast, a member of the Hockey Podcast Network and the official podcast of Left Wing Lock. Join me tonight, Bruce Guenther, John Enns, and Tyler Holman. Welcome back, boys, to episode 44.
Awesome. My internet is holding at 97%.
My God.
That's freaking amazing.
I didn't think it ever happened, but here we are.
Oh, man. Mine was at 92, and then it was 97, and it was...
Look at him. He's right on par with Tyler right now. This is incredible.
It's awesome.
Holding in the 90s.
So for our listeners, I'm sure they're thrilled to know, Bruce, we're not going to lose you at any point during the recording. Since you're building up such a following, fan favorite here on the show. NHL Week 16 Waiver picks and preview. We're starting a little bit late because there was a football game on, apparently.
Really good one.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
The Chiefs won. It's trash.
Hey, my Bengals won. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
You have to be like the only person.
And next week they play the
Canada
Chiefs,
that cheers
who
for
they
the
beat in the
Bengals.
regular season. So it's going to be good.
Yeah, the Bengals, Bruce, I got to say, is a pretty obscure team to cheer for, but I'm
their
happy
helmet?
for you.
It's got to be the helmet.
It's
The helmet. We've talked
Absolutely,
about this.
it's
It's
the
the
helmet.
helmet. It's the
That's what
helmet.
got Bruce going.
That'll do it.
I was going to play La Bamba at the start of this episode just because the Oilers finally got one. But due to copyright issues, I can't do that. So we're,
Oh, man.
I'll just mention it. Sorry, guys. Yeah.
Maybe John can sing it.
Yeah.
Take it away, John.
Good one. Not going to happen.
No chance. Well, hey, good to have everybody back on the show again. John, we missed you last week. We kind of just bitched about the Oilers for about 15 minutes to start the show.
I listened, and I was happy about it. So
I have to say, and I'm not defending him, but Koskinen did show up last night, and he deserves a bit of credit. That was a pretty phenomenal game from him.
I was going to send you a message, Koskinen for Vezina, but...
You should have, yeah. If it was based on one game throughout the entire season, then yeah, for that game,
For
probably.
sure.
I wouldn't. He still gave up 4 goals.
But yeah,
Or
well,
3.
Three goals.
3 goals. 3 goals on
Whatever.
45 shots or something, right? So not too shabby.
And they still only give him the 3rd star for the game. Like, it just
Well, they had to give Leon that stupid 1st star for all that effort he put into the empty netters, so...
Yeah, I think Koskinen put a little more effort into this one than that.
Tyler's already got a hate on for me.
He's shaking his head. We've talked about this lots off air. How can you not? Like, the guy puts up 4 points and scores the game winner, and John still says he's trash.
Well, I'd be less upset if he played well the rest of the game. Like, Connor had a horrible game too, I thought, but just the easy ones. He really tries for the easy ones. The 3rd goal was nice. I'll give him that one. Like that game winner was nice.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like the way he was playing up until that point.
Tyler disagrees.
I'm just gonna leave it alone.
We won't go there, but I guess that's a nice segue, John. Let's get into our first segment, John's list here.
Oh man.
For anyone that has not listened before, this is basically John's shit list of players, past and present, and it's a fun way for us to kick off the show. So, John, take it away.
Alrighty. So, since last week was all about the Oilers, the full team, I'm just kidding. This is going to have nothing to do with it. This week's player on the list is Scott Niedermeyer.
Yep.
I will say he was fantastic. Growing up, I was always like the big, tough guy kind of defenseman. Those were my type of players. Like the Scott Stevens and everything else. And I wasn't a huge fan of Niedermeyer. But then as time has gone on and after Stevens absolutely destroyed my favorite player's career.
Paul Kreider.
Yeah. Yeah. I've kind of changed
I was
my...
gonna say Eric Lindros, but
Oh, yeah, no.
he destroyed a few players' careers. So.
No, Lindros would end up on the list, so... But
Oh boy. Okay. We'll
get to
I'll
that
mute
later.
myself again.
there you go. But no, like as time has gone on, I guess I have a different new kind of respect for for players like Niedermeyer and players like Stevens. They don't quite have a place in the game like they used to. Don't get me wrong, I still love a good hit every once in a while. But no, I just never was high on Niedermeyer. Him and his brother, same thing. I can't put a pin on what exactly it is, but just not my cup of tea.
But they're on the list.
That's right.
It's on the list.
It's a poor explanation, but I don't know.
You should have put Rob Niedermeyer on the list.
Well,
because he just had the good last name, but he sucked.
Yeah.
Whereas Scott was like ahead of his time. He's like today's defenseman.
That's
20
true.
years ago.
He is ahead of his time. I will say that, and maybe that's why I didn't like him back in the day, is just because he was different, so to speak, than what I was accustomed to in my likings of players.
He was probably too soft for you, John.
He was. He's a defenseman. He's not supposed to be a knob or whatever. So
he never made it on any of Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em 29, volume 29. So
that's right.
Unless he was on the receiving end of one.
So now he's on John's list, volume 18. I don't know which one we're on now.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Okay, well, I don't know what else to say.
I disagree again, but that's fine.
Yeah, but this is the whole thing. We most of us disagree with John's list, but we love it. So
it's because your opinion is trash, Tyler.
Oh God!
Here we go.
People who've been on the list don't deserve to have opinions on my list.
Yeah, you know what? I missed one episode and I got put on the list, and that's baloney. Complete bullcrap. I'm muting myself again.
There he goes. Okay, well, John, thanks for that, bud. Let's move on to Fantasy Lock of the Week, presented by Left Wing Lock. And this week I went with Kris Kreider.
Oh, see, this is another one I had a problem with. You put the guy in the honorable mentions. I'm just going to jump ahead here because you had Sidney Crosby in the honorable mentions. That guy is just fire right now. I don't care about Kris Kreider. Sidney Crosby, he's the one who's putting it down.
I debated putting Crosby there because he had his 12th NHL hat trick here recently, but the reason I put Kreider in there because he had 7 points, so he was tied for the league lead in points this week. He had 5 goals. He had 1 hat trick himself, 3 power play points, 11 shots on goal, and now he's tied for the league lead amongst NHL players in goals. He's got 29 goals in the season right now, and he's in his 10th season, I think. So a bit of an anomaly, right? We didn't really expect Kris Kreider to be where he is today, and that's why I gave him some love on the episode tonight. And I still gave your boy Sidney Crosby some love too, because he had a phenomenal week, no question. But
nice.
That's enough man loving here.
I was gonna say, sorry, I was speechless. I just looked at the next honorable mention in there, so yeah.
Was it Joe Pavelski? You can't handle the Joe Pavelskis in there. That one was mostly a jab at you, but he had a great week as well. He had 7 points, 1 goal, 4 power play points, over 20 minutes time on ice. The other guy we got in here is Tony DeAngelo. He had 7 points again, 4 power play points in 3 games played there. Crosby, like you mentioned, 6 points, 5 goals. And then Jeff Skinner, who had 6 points, 3 goals, 2 power play points, 13 shots on goal. And Jeff Skinner, actually, he was on our waiver wire pickup list last week and then proceeded to just make us look really good this week. So
thank you.
Yeah, if you can't grab Skinner, take a look at Tage Thompson or Dylan Cousins or Alex Tuck, any one of those guys on the top line. Peyton Krebs, he had 2 goals yesterday. Yeah. So there you go. There you have it. There's Fantasy Lock of the Week. Any other points you want to discuss, John, or debate about?
Nope, not at all.
All right, let's move on to the next segment here. Headlines with the Hacks, news and injury notes for January 17th to the 23rd. As always, our partner Left Wing Lock has a complete up-to-date list available on their website for all players placed on COVID protocol. I am friggin' happy to report that after the All-Star break, they're not testing asymptomatic players moving forward. So that's great. We want to talk about the Oilers in COVID protocol because I think pretty much everyone there has had it. And Tyler, like you had mentioned, they don't have to test for 90 days afterwards. So bonus there. So let's start it off here. Brad Marchand, Marc-Andre Fleury, and Nikita Kucherov, they were the NHL's 3 stars of the week, ending for January 16th. Carey Price is essentially starting from scratch with regards to his rehab for his knee. So unfortunate news there. I think we all sort of thought he'd be back sooner than later. And at this point, does it really feel like he's going to play at all this season?
Well, that's the question, right? If he does get healthy and with the Montreal season, do you risk it? Do you just let him rest and worry about next season? Like, do you even consider playing him? I don't think so.
No.
I think I'd let him heal.
I think he tries probably the last couple of weeks of the season, play a couple games, and maybe get traded in the offseason. Because if he doesn't play all year, it's going to be pretty hard to move him. And I think that they're probably going to go into a rebuild here. So,
well, they're definitely rebuilding
for the next 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll keep an eye on that. That's, I don't know. It's too bad. Kevin Fiala became the fourth Swiss-born player in league history to score 100 career NHL goals. He joined Timo Meier, Nino Niedermeyer, and Roman Josi. Speaking of Timo Meier, he scored 5 goals against the LA Kings on Monday afternoon, becoming the fourth player this season to score a hat trick in a single period. He also became the NHL's fifth player in the last 25 years to score 5 or more goals in a single game. He's up to 45 points, 20 goals in 35 games so far this season. And for quick math, that's 47. That's a 47 goal pace for anyone that is interested.
And it's a contract.
I'm happy to let you guys know that I do have Timo Meier on my Yahoo team, Bruce.
And it's a contract year for him too, is it not?
You're the contract guy, man. You tell me.
Come on, Bruce. Get it together.
I think it is for him and Hurdle.
I know it is for Hurdle, for sure.
We'll find out in a second here.
Yeah. Cue Jeopardy music.
Where? Oh, there.
With his fast internet, it won't take very long.
It takes less time now. That's true. Nope. Meyer is under contract for 1 more year.
Okay.
$6 million.
Yeah.
That's a steal for
And
that.
then he's an
guy right
RFA after that.
Interesting. Okay. Jake Guenztel scored on Monday to record his 5th consecutive 20-goal season and 141st goal since joining the Penguins in 2016-2017. Only Crosby with 153 has more goals for the Penguins during that time. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Travis Konecny scored his 100th career NHL goal in a 4-1 loss to the Islanders on Monday night. Konecny becomes the 11th player for the Flyers to reach that milestone before the age of 25. We had mentioned Travis Konecny a couple weeks ago as a guy that we thought had some bounce back appeal, and for as bad as the Flyers are right now, Travis Konecny seems to be doing okay. Nathan MacKinnon had a goal and an assist against the Wild on Monday to reach 600 career NHL points in 599 games played. With 3 assists against the Los Angeles Kings on Monday, Erik Karlsson reached 500 career NHL assists, became the fastest active NHL defenseman to reach that milestone, just 820 games played. The Montreal Canadiens announced Kent Hughes was hired as their GM. Did you guys know anything about Kent Hughes before he was hired?
Not a clue. No idea who he was.
That was a new one for me. Yeah. Good luck, Abs.
Jeez.
Frank Cervelli reported on Tuesday that the NHL will no longer test asymptomatic players, like I said. Assuming COVID rates around the league continue to decline. Also, testing is only required for cross-border travel and if symptoms do develop. The Evander Kane investigation is supposed to come to a conclusion by, they said Wednesday or Thursday. We're hearing now that it's most likely we'll hear something tomorrow or Tuesday in terms of that investigation. And then, I don't know, it sounds like the Oilers have signed him, right? Basically, assuming that there's no suspension. But if there's a lengthy suspension, I can't see them signing him.
I don't think there's going to be a suspension.
You don't think so, hey?
I don't think so. Just from stuff that I've read, I just don't see them suspending him. But then that goes back to the grievance, because they basically voided his contract because of travel with COVID. But from everything that I've read, it doesn't sound like there's going to be a suspension. I know people like Jason Gregor and stuff thinking that it might be a 40-game suspension. I just don't see it. So
Well, the logic there is that he was suspended 21 games for using a fake vaccine card, and they're not going to give him less than 21 games. But I think it's kind of a different circumstance, right? Like, he left a day early. Like, maybe he was advised by somebody that, yes, you can leave at this time. Like, we don't know that, right? I have no idea what the situation is. But
the other thing, too, is, like, he traveled. He was allowed to go into Canada by border service agents. Like, he was...
Yeah.
He didn't, like... smuggle himself across the border. He took a flight. So, I mean, somebody let him in.
Yeah.
And then let him go back. So, I mean, unless he had a fake negative test to get in. I just don't see how you can suspend him. So.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I mean, if the Oilers do sign him, that top six when Nuge comes back and when Hyman's healthy, like the Oilers, they won without Hyman and Nuge in the lineup, right?
Yeah, they gritted one out.
Yeah, they also lost like 13 or 14 or whatever before that.
I know. I'm not. You know, I'm trying not to be too optimistic here, right? But I mean,
typical Oilers fan wins one game and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're
basically."
We're
I told Britt this morning, yeah, cue the comeback. Here we go.
Start planning the parade.
They were due. It's just nice that it ended up being Calgary. That it ended up.
Exactly.
Well, if they lost to Calgary on Hockey Night in Canada, some heads would have rolled, I think, this morning.
Yep.
Well, I think too, like I think Holland hasn't fired Tippett because I think Holland knows that this roster really is on him, and where they're at is more on him than on Tippett. So, Tippett's done some stupid stuff. Some of his like lineup deployment is a little bit weird, but it's really on Holland more than anything else.
Yeah, agreed. There's some news around the league too that the Oilers are investigating a goalie. So some of the names you heard were Martin Jones.
You can tell he didn't want the job, right?
Swayman was another one.
You can tell Jones didn't want the job after the rumor came out. He went out and laid an absolute egg against, what was that, Buffalo? Like, it was just like, God.
No thanks.
I'm out.
Yeah. Vanacek was another one the Oilers were looking at. Swayman was another name that came up. Some good young goaltenders. Holtby, Kudobin.
Well, with Vanacek,
I just don't think they're. I don't think they're gonna get those guys. Like, everybody knows they're desperate, so
they're gonna pay a premium for them.
And they're not gonna. Like, Holland's just not gonna do it. So.
Yeah. Well, and then Mikko has a good game again, right? So then it gives them even more cause to not do anything.
False hope.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, we'll move on from that. Kevin Hayes underwent a procedure to drain fluid from his adductor region, expected to miss 3 to 4 weeks according to the team.
He just has no luck this season, eh?
No, he's got 0. He's had a really rough season here. I'm sure he'll be on a lot of bounce back lists for next season.
Yep.
Freddie Anderson reached 20 wins in just 26 games played this season. That's the 9th fewest number of games needed to reach 20 wins in league history. He's been pretty good this year, hey, Bruce?
Yeah, not bad for a terrible goalie that couldn't win with the Leafs, eh?
Yeah. They've said that about a few players, though. Willie O'Ree's number was lifted to the rafters on Tuesday night. 64 years ago, O'Ree became the league's first black player. It was unfortunate he wasn't able to actually attend. I mean, he's 84, 86 years old. Probably not a great idea for him to be there, but would have been nice to see. Jake Muzzin was diagnosed with a concussion on Tuesday. He will not travel with the team. Nikolaj Ehlers left Tuesday's game against Washington. Orlov hit Ehlers, knee to knee, no penalty on the play. Ehlers was already ruled out for Thursday's game against Nashville, and I can't remember the report was here, guys, but something did come out recently.
He's on LTIR now.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you. Too bad. I didn't really like the hit. It was kind of an awkward hit.
My fantasy team is sad.
I didn't like it either.
That was a big loss for one of my fantasy teams.
Yeah, it seems to happen every year with Ehlers, though.
Yeah.
Like, something comes up. He gets injured, just whether of his own fault or not. But Jacob Chychrun was activated from IR on Wednesday. Tyler, those shifts, buddy. You kept him just for the shifts.
He didn't fucking play much, so there's that.
He had an assist, though, didn't he?
He did have an assist. It was nice. Yeah,
there you go. And plus, he's probably going to get traded somewhere else anyway. So
that's what I'm holding out for.
Yeah. So sorry, I should have mentioned this earlier. Dmitry Orlov was suspended 2 games on Tuesday for that hit on Ehlers. The NHL announced that 95 games have been scheduled to be played from February 7th to the 22nd. Starting February 8th, there are now at least 4 games each day until February 28th. The NHL is still set to conclude on April 29th. Some interesting news this week. Jack Eichel could still be a month or 2 away, according to the NHL's website. He's been practicing with the team. He's actually been going on road trips. But I think George McPhee actually came out and said, yeah, he's a month or 2 away still, which is interesting because there was talk that he was going to be back like last week somehow.
They still have to figure out who they're going to trade.
Yeah,
well, they have enough space right now.
Needs more time.
Yeah, need more time. Let the cap hit go down for another month or 2.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Cap gymnastics. Brad Marchand suffered an upper body injury on Thursday night. He did not return to the game. It seemed like we were talking about this earlier before the show. Hey, Bruce, he wasn't going to play, and then of course he comes in and plays almost 20 minutes, and
he looked fine to me.
Yeah. So I don't know what the issue there was, but Tyler, you're like this. Preds captain Roman Josi is the franchise leader in assists with 357. Tyler's pretty much the president of the Roman Josi fan club.
I certainly am. I think I've had him for like 5 years in a row.
Yeah. At the prime from your cold, dead fingers, basically.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I don't know
Don't
if you
even
traded
bother.
McDavid for him.
I'd talk about it at least.
At least, yeah. Take it under consideration. Max Pacioretty skated with the team on Thursday. He's expected to travel on the upcoming road trip. I don't even want to talk about this. I've got it in here, though. The Oilers lost 6-0 to the Panthers the other night. Let's move on.
Trash.
Yeah, that was garbage. That's enough. According to Eric Engels, Jake Allen is out 8 weeks with a lower body injury. Kevin Hayes and Joel Farabee were both placed on IR Friday. Farabee is expected to miss about 4 weeks with an upper body injury. The Oilers placed RNH on LTIR and Mike Smith on IR this week, and then they actually waived Kyle Turris, and he did clear, which I don't think surprised anybody.
Oh.
Assuming those moves are made to make room for Evander Kane.
Or Seth Griffith.
Or Seth Griffith. Yeah, that move. Yeah, that was a big one. Big news. Or Brad Malone. They
See
signed
the Brad Malone
to a
signing.
deal,
There you
too.
go.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's good. Yeah.
Playoffs, here we come. Yeah.
Look at us.
Yeah. Anyway, Tony DeAngelo became the first defenseman in Hurricanes/Whalers history to record 30 points through his first 30 games with the franchise.
That experiment worked out pretty well for Carolina, eh?
I would say so.
They got-
Yeah. Does anyone here have DeAngelo on their
Oh,
roster?
yeah. Pick me.
Nice.
John, is he on your list? Because he should be.
No comment.
Silence. No comment.
I really want to put him on there, but I don't know.
He's just a dipshit.
He's better than Ovi. It looks like.
Well, he hasn't caused any trouble in
John's on the
Carolina
list.
yet, so that's good for him.
No, he's been good. Things have worked out just fine there. Teuvo Tervin left Friday's game with a lower body injury and did not play on Saturday. With an assist in the first period Friday night, Kris Letang extended his career-high point streak to 10 games. Crosby, like we said earlier, scored his 12th career hat trick, and the Penguins won their 4th straight game. I think it's 7 straight at home now for the Penguins, so they've been pretty
That team
fantastic.
Team is fire.
And Sportsnet the other day posted something about Tristan Jarry being a Vezina candidate. So I just want to, one more time beat that drum, guys. The Tristan Jarry, yeah. I'm just saying. He's pretty good. Tyler, sorry, but yeah. I really wish our listeners could see your face right now. Sam Bennett was day-to-day with a lower body injury. I think he missed 1 game. He was back again tonight. Colton Pareco took the first penalty shot by a Blues defenseman since February 3rd of 1985. He did score on the play, making it 4-0 for St. Louis.
He made that look easy.
He sure did. He's pretty good, that guy. Islanders Hall of Famer Clark Gillies passed away on Friday. Gillies won 4 Stanley Cups with the Islanders during their dynasty years in the 80s. He played in 958 NHL games, scoring 319 goals and 378 assists. Some sad news there. He wasn't very old. He was in his 60s, right? Yeah. Tough news there. The Buffalo Sabres rookie forward Jack Quinn, he's going to miss at least 4 weeks due to a lower body injury. And with 2 goals on Saturday, Jeff Skinner now has 16 goals on the season, leading the Buffalo Sabres, and he's on pace for 34 goals this season. Like we said, Peyton Krebs also scored the first and second career NHL goals against the Flyers. Apparently, if you're not injured in Montreal, you can't be a goalie there. So Sam Montembeault is considered day-to-day with an upper body injury. Chris Kreider scored his hat-trick, like we mentioned earlier. Gabriel Landeskog scored the game winner in OT against the Habs, extending Colorado's home win streak to 15 games. The Habs are 16-1-1 in their past 18. And Darcy Kemper has won 10 straight games at home, matching the longest streak in Avalanche/Quebec Nordique's history, tying Jonathan Bernier in 2016-2017. Steven Stamkos recorded his 12th career 20-goal season. He's now tied with Vincent Lecavalier for the most in Tampa Bay history. According to the Golden Knights head coach Pete DeBoer, Mark Stone is still in COVID protocol. He didn't travel with the team. Zach Whitecloud is with the team. He's day-to-day, though. Alec Martinez skated Sunday, still day-to-day. Max Pacioretty will skate on his own Sunday as well, or did skate today, and may play at some point on the upcoming road trip. So they must be figuring out their cap issues, Tyler. I don't know. They have a plan.
I don't think they have a plan.
They're just collecting players at this point.
Pretty much.
No, that attitude.
They will be the team with the most people on LTIR of any other team in the league, because they're going to have to trade for all of them to get everybody on the team.
Yeah, really. Kris Letang played his 900th NHL game against the Winnipeg Jets on Sunday. Mackenzie Blackwood is apparently day-to-day, but he backed up the Devils today on Sunday, so interesting situation there. And then Kevin Lankinen was placed on IR by the Chicago Blackhawks after sustaining a wrist injury. He's going to miss about 3 weeks. So there you have it, folks. That is Headlines with the Hacks. Let's move on to NHLShop.ca. The Fantasy Hockey Hacks podcast is a proud partner of NHLShop.ca, the best source for all your officially licensed NHL apparel and merchandise. Follow the links in our show notes or our website. Save up to 50% on select apparel now and get free shipping on orders over $99. Use promo code NHLFS99 at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details. Full disclosure, Fantasy Hockey Hacks may receive a small commission for your purchase, which helps us to continue providing original content and fund Tyler's gambling habits.
Yeah, it's not going good, so buy jerseys, please.
Please buy the jerseys. Please buy the hats. All the swag you need.
You didn't put any money on Koskinen Saturday night?
God, no. God, no.
It would have paid out big.
I had Edmonton, but I'm an idiot, and I do parlays all the time, and I screwed it up. I got 3 out of 4, but I just lose money that way. That's what I did.
You love those parlays. You just can't help yourself.
I can't. I try, but I can't.
I did make a few bucks this weekend on DraftKings. Yeah. Yep. It's been going well, actually.
It's a good thing I'm playing the free ones, because I didn't do well at all.
Yeah, the one actually, there was about 3,800 entries, and I finished in the top 160.
Oh, wow.
So That's
bad. Awesome.
Not bad.
I've been in the
sometimes
below the bottom half of every one that I've done this week. It hasn't been good.
Sometimes you just get lucky. All right, let's move on to our next segment here. Ask the Hacks.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Starting with, is it worth dropping Evan Rodriguez for Batherson or Norris, being that Ottawa had so many games postponed, or pick up Ivan Barbashev, Matt Zuccarello? Those are kind of the options there. I would say at this point, feel free to drop Evan Rodriguez. Yep. He with that roster getting healthy, he's been pointless now, I think, in 5 or 6 games. He's you know what? When he gets the lineup placement and the deployment, he's good. He's shown that, but he's not going to now. And Batherson and Norris are both good options. especially in hits leagues. Batherson covers off that category. Barbashev's a great option if you can still get him in your league. And same with Zuccarello, actually, for that matter. But what do you guys think? Tyler, I'll go to you first.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I think ideally you would have traded Rodrigue as soon as you knew Malcolm was coming back and a couple other guys were coming back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely drop him for Batherson or Norris. Norris can score with somebody else's helmet on, so that's got to be worth something.
Sure,
yeah. Bonus points. Bruce?
Yeah, no, I
probably
agree.
have that in your league.
I have
Probably get
Rodriguez
bonus points
on
for
one
that.
team, and I got to do something with him. So be along the same lines.
Okay. And John, any differing viewpoint there?
Yeah, no, I dropped Rodriguez like a week ago. He wasn't doing anything, and he's gonna continue not doing anything. So yeah, definitely Batherson, and Zuccarello actually has 12 points in his last 6 games. So
He's been outrageous this year.
Yep.
And being glued to Kaprizov's hip, I don't think that's really going to change. Like, I think if you look at the numbers, yeah, there's some regression coming, but oh, come on, John, you like Kaprizov.
no,
Thrill the thrill.
he still makes me angry.
Yeah.
All because of that
I know.
stupid Calder voting.
I do agree with you there. I think that's dumb, but we can save that for another episode.
Yeah.
All right. If you're drafting today in a fun league, would you mostly draft players from teams who have more games remaining, a mix, or just the best players still available? And the example shown here was Ottawa's got 37 games, Florida has 30. So what's your strategy there, guys? Like if you were drafting today in say an office pool or something, or maybe it's just a league that's starting late for some reason, are you focusing on
they have
what's that?
fun leagues, like just for fun?
Yeah, they do. Those do exist.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, I don't think I've ever been part of a fun league.
I don't know what to do.
Hockey is stressful.
I don't know what to do. I just said, like, to me, the schedule is kind of the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So if you got 2 players, all things being equal, the schedule's is the tiebreaker. Fair?
Yep.
Fair.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Really thrown for a loop for the fun league.
Just speechless. Tyler doesn't know what to say.
We need to
That's
win.
rare. And that's rare.
We need to win.
This was kind of a 2-parter as well. So they said, do you take Matthews with 36 games or McKinnon with 32 in the first round? And I said Matthews.
Just based on goals.
Based on
Worth
goals
more.
alone. And I kind of looked, and I think he had a few other things like face-off wins. If your league counts face-offs, he obviously has an advantage there. But the rest of their statistics were pretty close in terms of production. But yeah, like you've got extra games there with Matthews, and then he covers goals off better. So, John, any thoughts there? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
All right. Next question up here. So I have Ehlers, Nugent-Hopkins, Eichel, Palat, and Horvat out. Which of these do you drop?
Palat.
Yeah, I'd go with Palat.
John?
Give me 10 seconds here. Settle down.
He's gonna
I'll
say
agree too, guys.
Nuge.
I'm going to go with Palat.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not a huge fan either, but
Yeah, agreed.
okay.
It's unanimous.
Unanimous. Is it time to pick up Tyler Sagan?
Oh, in the short term, I
much
think so.
research.
He's got.
What's that,
I think
Bruce?
in the short term, he's had 6 points in his last 3 games. He's made his
Yep.
way back into the top 6 and power play 1. So yeah, in the short term here, I'd ride him for sure.
On January 18th against Montreal, he played almost 9.5 minutes on the power play. I've never seen that before.
So
That's outrageous.
incredible.
Maybe they should stay out of the box.
Yeah, no kidding.
But like even his time on ice, right? We've seen it gone up. Like he was playing some pretty low minutes there for
He
a
was
while.
the 4th line for a while.
Yeah, and no power play time, and he's got some games here with over 20 minutes played, over almost 22 minutes played. So Yeah, if there's no acquisition costs, I'm going to give the guy a shot. He's got the track record.
Definitely.
Okay. Do you think Ville Husso takes the starting gig in St. Louis? He's outplaying Binnington by a mile. And I'm going to preface this by saying we just found out tonight because he started for the Blues again. I think that's his third straight start for St. Louis, and it wasn't on a back-to-back. So, I mean, follow the money, right? We've heard that lots with contracts and stuff. You follow the money, and Binnington has been their starter. But this is sort of a similar situation to what happened with Jake Allen and Binnington years ago.
Oh yeah,
and in a cap era, you kind of have to find cheap solutions, and if Ville Husso is outplaying him by a mile,
you're gonna play the hot hand, right?
Yeah,
which ruins like 2 of my fantasy teams.
I think you just ride him while he's hot, but I don't think it's going to be something where he takes over anything. I know even in a cap era, like based on the cap, Binnington at $6 million, I think he has like 4 or 5 years left. Because of that, he has to get it back. So it's only until Husso falters, which will happen eventually. I mean, the way that Binnington took over there for Allen, like that was all time. We'll probably never see that again, that kind of run into the playoffs and into the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
We'll never see that again. So
yeah, that was an exceptional circumstance. I'd agree.
Yeah.
I know people are trying
I know people are trying to say that there's like a goalie controversy there, but they're like good for Husso. He's playing good right now. To me, there's not really actually a controversy.
Yeah,
unless you have Binnington on your fantasy team, then
like me.
I don't know if it's more of a pain in the ass than anything else, but.
To your point, I was just going to say I'm not going to drop Binnington though. Like if I can add Husso and kind of handcuff Binnington, I'll do that. But I'm not going to drop Binnington because you are right, Tyler. I think at some point it's going to go back to Binnington. We just don't know when. It's just frustrating as an owner if you're sitting here for the past few weeks. Like Binnington gets 2 starts, right? It's tough.
It's because he sucks.
I'm gonna.
I'm just looking. I'm looking at his last games he's played. Wow.
Trash.
I almost want to disagree with you guys.
It's that bad. Hey, spit some numbers at us. What do you got for us, John?
Oh, well, now I just closed it. Here, let me open some.
Okay, don't worry about it then. I was gonna point out quickly because I know Mike will. I just have Mike in the back of my head mentioning this. The PK save percentage for Ville Husso is at .948.
Oh wow,
so
that's pretty good, right?
It should be around 865 if you talk to Mike. So we know there's some regression coming for Husso.
Man,
besides just the obvious.
Mike and his logic.
Yeah. So I just wanted to spit that out there. But did you find those numbers for us, John?
Oh, you told me we were moving on.
He gave up.
You were pulling them up. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Drinking water instead.
Okay, we'll forget about it. Moving
trash.
on. We're gonna move on. He's not very good.
Husso's amazing.
And then the last question here we got, guys, is Vitek Vanacek taking over the starting gig in Washington? And there's a second part to that question in a second here, but do you guys think he's taking over the job?
I don't think any one of those goalies wants the starting job. Like the way they've been playing lately, they're going to play the hot hand because these 2 goalies are hot and cold is just that quickly.
But they got to pick one because both of them are in contract years this year.
Neither of them seem to want to raise then.
Yeah, I think Vanacek probably comes a little bit cheaper, so Washington probably wants that.
Yeah.
We need one of them to step
given
up.
the amount of Russian players on that team, maybe Samsonov is a better option, but
yeah,
I don't know. They like Vanacek, right? They traded back for him after he was taken in the expansion draft.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Was it a second?
I think so.
Yeah.
So if you give up a second to get him back, you're not just going to let him walk, right?
No. Maybe you trade him for another second.
Yeah, could be. Could flip him again. He has played. I'm just looking here. He's played something like 7 of the last 8 games for the Capitals. So he's been getting the volume. The numbers aren't great. Right now in the season he's at a 909 and a 2.54. I don't know. I mean, the way it looks right now, I'd prefer Vanacek over Samsonov. I don't know about you guys though.
Vanacek has the better numbers. Samsonov's numbers are worse. Samsonov was in 903 and his goals against was higher.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather have Samsonov, but just a higher pedigree if you're planning on from a team perspective as opposed to fantasy. But
I think long term I'd rather have Samsonov, especially if it's a keeper league. But right now and for the remainder of the season, I don't know. It's kind of a messy situation, and Vanacek's at least playing, but
I think we've discussed most of my fantasy team's goalies now tonight. And not in a good way.
Happy to help, Bruce. Okay, so Bruce, for you, is that job being taken by Vanacek or not? Or do you have a preference?
It's they've reported it's Vanacek's job for the taking. If he wants it, he's gotta. They said the door is open. Samsonov hasn't played that well, so Vanacek hasn't played terribly, but he hasn't played fantastic either. They did beat Ottawa, I think today. Was it today they beat Ottawa?
Or yesterday?
Yesterday.
They came back. I think they were down 2-0.
Yeah, they came back and they beat Ottawa yesterday. And Vanacek was in that. So we'll see what happens here on tomorrow. If he gets to start again or if they go back to Samsonov. But I think it's a case there where it's going to be whoever has the hot hand is the one that's going to play.
Okay. John, what's your take on it?
I think Vanacek he's going to get more starts, I think. Like you said, he has the better numbers. Yeah. Not a whole lot else.
Okay, you're leaning that way though.
Yep.
Okay, and then the second part of that question here was, would you pick up Vanacek or Varlamov for the rest of the season?
I'd probably pick up Vanacek just based off of the fact that they kind of want him to take it.
Yeah.
And I think the Islanders kind of want Sorokin to take it too. So
I 100% agree with you. Yeah, I think that's the way it's going, and there's talk of Varlamov to the Oilers, actually, Tyler.
Well, what about
it's too much?
So what about looking at it this way?
Too much money for too long.
The Islanders have so many games in hand over the other. Would you not Varlamov in case, because they're going to play a bunch of games here really close together? And
that goes back to the question about schedule, right? Like there's for sure an advantage that way. It's going to be, it's going to be a 50% split basically.
Well, if you look back the last 2 weeks, it's a 50-50 split. It's they're playing, each goalie is getting every other game. So that's going to continue.
Yeah. Well, and like I've said before, that's a tandem that I actually wouldn't mind owning together, just because it is a 50% split, and I like Sorokin a lot, but they're still giving lots of starts to Varlamov, and actually his numbers have been better, pretty good the last few starts here.
I think I'd be scared trading for Varlamov, just playing for that team and the way that they play, the way that they actually play defense, defense.
Yeah.
I'd be scared.
Yeah, what would he look like on the Oilers, right? Or some other team that didn't play defensive hockey?
Yeah. Lower body injury. That's all I have to say. He played on the Oilers.
He'd be on IR with Mike Smith.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's move on from that segment. We're gonna do our DraftKings ad read here, Tyler. So if you feel like taking a break and intermission, I'll see you in about 10 minutes here. So
yep. See you guys.
As a member of the Hockey Podcast Network, the Fantasy Hockey Hacks podcast is proud to partner with DraftKings. The NFL playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is kicking things off with a huge offer. Counting down to the Super Bowl 56, new customers can get 56-1 odds on any wildcard team to win their game. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team is victorious. If Sportsbook isn't available in your location yet, you still have something to play for this weekend or these playoffs. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings daily fantasy football contests. I'm looking at you, Bruce. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN and get 56-1 odds on any NFL team. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code THPN. An official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 years of age or older. New Jersey, Indianapolis, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And Tyler, I'm looking at you for that one.
They're on speed dial. They told me to stop doing parlays. Stop doing parlays.
Just a bad idea. All right, let's move on to the next segment here then. Edge Work, the segment where we do the work to give you the edge in your fantasy hockey leagues. We'll start with the NHL schedule for Week 16. I know, guys, it's terribly corny, but we're going to roll with it. So it's going to be another busy week in the NHL with 53 total games on the slate and no less than 5 games played on any single day. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are technically light days with fewer than 50% of the teams playing. If you're looking to maximize games played for your roster for next week, there are 4 teams that play all of their games on light days, so Mondays, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and those 4 teams are Boston, Chicago, Colorado, and Dallas. Additionally, New York, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, and Washington play 3 games on light days. So those are some teams you're going to want to target if you're looking at waiver wire pickups for the coming week. Monday, there's 7 games, Tuesday, 8, Wednesday, 5, Thursday, 10, Friday, 5, Saturday, 11, and Sunday, 7. And then we're going to take a look at some teams here that we like for the upcoming week. And so teams with 4 games, the first one we like here is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Their strength of schedule, according to the Left Wing Lock app, is -25. As we've said in the past, the smaller the number, the more favorable the schedule. The larger the number, the more difficult. The Penguins have the 4th best points percentage at .818 over the past month with a record of 9-2-0. With a win Sunday versus Winnipeg, Pittsburgh now has 7 straight home wins. Their special teams have been clicking. The power play is ranked 14th at 22.2%, and the PK is 12th at 84%. They've got a great schedule for next week with matchups against Arizona, Seattle, Detroit, and LA. The Pens absolutely crushed Seattle 6-1 on December 6th. Guenztel and Heinen both had 3-point games, while Carter, Zucker, and Rodriguez chipped in with 2 points each. The Kings did recently beat Pittsburgh, though, by an ugly score of 6-2, and that's probably going to prove to be their toughest opponent next week. Some players to take a look at are Kasperi Kapanen, Jeff Carter, Jason Zucker, if he's not on IR, Rodriguez, Danton Heinen, and John Marino. Any other thoughts there, guys, on Pittsburgh?
John Marino gets you those shifts.
Got to get those shifts.
They get the shifts.
I'm going to get a t-shirt made that says get those shifts.
Gotta get those shifts.
Gotta get those shifts, yeah. Okay, moving on here. Let's go to the Carolina Hurricanes. Their strength of schedule is -15. They've been the 8th best team in terms of points percentage over the last month with a record of 6-2-1. However, the team is ranked 2nd in goals for per game at 4.56, and the special teams have been incredible. Power play is ranked 1st overall at 41.7%, and the PK is ranked 4th at 87%. The Canes took down the Vegas Golden Knights on November 16th by a score of 4-2. Who they play this week, Martin Necas, Vincent Trocheck, and Seth Jarvis all contributed offensively in that initial matchup. The Canes did lose to Ottawa 3-2 on December 2nd, but Slavin and Jarvis again were contributors in that game. They're widely available on the wire. Carolina also lost the first game of the season series against New Jersey and San Jose. So, I mean, for as much as their strength of schedule looks good, they are facing some teams that they've lost to already this year. But they do offer lots of guys who can contribute offensively and are available on the waiver wire. Some players to consider there: Martin Necas, Seth Jarvis, Vincent Trocheck, Nino Niederreiter, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, Jacob Slavin, and Brady Shea. And I guess Antti Ranta if he's actually healthy ever. Yeah, I know.
No dice.
Nice.
The last team here with 4 games we wanted to take a look at was Colorado. We know how good they've been, guys. They've just been they've been the best team in terms of points percentage over the last month at a .958. They've got 2 matchups here against Chicago, one against Buffalo and one against Boston. They've got plenty of offensive upside with these matchups coming up this week. They outscored the Blackhawks in 2 games this season by a combined score of 8-5, and they've done that with lots of secondary scoring. So take a look at some guys like Andre Burakovsky, Valery Nichushkin, Logan O'Connor, Alex Newhook, JT Compher, Sam Girard, Eric Johnson, and Pavel Francouz. I would guess Francouz probably sees 2 starts this week. Probably a nice waiver wire pickup if you need some help in goal. The other team with 4 games to look at too, like I said earlier, is New York. I like those guys as well. And Tyler, if you're looking to, just a little sprinkle on the Rangers, they're plus 2,200 to win the Stanley Cup this year.
I'm not gonna do it.
Do it. Do it.
I called that phone number. They told me don't do it.
Okay.
They said there's better picks up there.
Yeah,
They said go with the
I
Oilers.
like those odds, and you know what? They have goaltending. Like Shesterkin's been no worse than the second best goalie this year.
He's been good. Really good.
You're not buying, eh?
I'm not buying.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on. Teams with 3 games. First up here is Minnesota Wild. Bruce, I just automatically thought of you because that's your
My
team. If it's not the Oilers, it's Minnesota. Their strength of schedule this week is +7. Since December 23rd, the Minnesota Wild have only played 7 games, but they hold a 5-1-1 record. They're 5th in points percentage league-wide at .786. They've been scoring 4 goals per game, which is tied for 5th, while only allowing 2.86. Special teams have been underwhelming, though. The power play is only at 18.2%, which is 21st, and the PK is 26th at 72.7%. The schedule is actually fairly neutral, but they do have a matchup with Montreal, who is 1-4-4 in their last month of play. So you kind of have to think that's penciled in as a win for Minnesota there. Mini took game 1 of the season series against the Islanders by a score of 5-2 on November 7th. And with Cam Talbot out, Kakkonen has provided excellent goaltending. 5-0-1 with a 2.19 goals against average and a .938 save percentage, which, Bruce, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know.
Exactly, right? When Talbot went down, I picked up Kakkonen in two of the three leagues I'm in, and now that Talbot's healthy, I got to take him off IR, and I got to decide what I'm going to do with my other goalies. Because I don't know if Talbot's going to see the net here unless there's a back-to-back.
Okay, good stuff. Players to consider there for the Wild is Matt Zuccarello, Jordan Greenway, Joel Eriksson-Ek, Marcus Foligno, who I actually really like, Matthew Boldy, Kevin Fiala, who don't look now, but he's actually got 6 points in his last 6 games. He's the second half production is started up, so grab that guy when you can. Alex Goligoski and Kaapo Kähkönen. I think we'll talk about Goligoski actually in our waiver wire pickups this week too, guys. Teams with 2 games, the Nashville Predators. Their strength of schedule is -24. They are 7-4-2 over the last month, which is good enough for 7th overall in total points. Special teams have been good. Power play is 12th at 25%, and the PK is 7th at 86%. The team is scoring 3.46 goals for per game and only allowing 2.92. They're tied for 5th in total goals with 45 over the last month. And kind of an odd stat, but the Predators led the league in hits over the past month with 452 hits.
Oh, wow.
The next closest team in that category was the Rangers at 341. Yeah. So if you're looking for some hits for your roster, give the Preds a look. Looking at their matchups for next week, the Preds are going on the road against Seattle and Edmonton, giving Nashville one of the most favorable schedules according to Left Wing Lock Schedule Tool. In their first matchup of the season series, Nashville actually lost to the Kraken 4-3, but Seattle's not doing great right now. They're 2-7-1 in the past month. Tolvanen and Kunin, Granlund, and Carrier chipped in during that first matchup. The Preds lost to the Oilers on November 3rd by a score of 5-2, but the Oilers have been struggling lately, which we all know. Duchesne, Johansen, and Kunin chipped in offensively in that series opener against the Oilers. So take a look at Tanner Jeannot, Michael Granlund, Ryan Johansen, Eli Tolvanen, and Alex Carrier. And that wraps up the schedule portion of Edge Work. Any other thoughts there, guys? Okay. John, you don't hate Saros?
No.
All right. Let's move on to waiver wire targets for week 16. If you're new to the show, we've mentioned in the past, waiver wire targets are being focused on players with ownership of approximately 50% or less. There comes the drink. Yeah. Hi, Amy.
Nothing.
Just nothing.
Yeah.
She got
Yeah. This is too funny. Anyway, so there's going to be the odd player on here who's got ownership above 50%, but sometimes they're just too good not to mention. So kicking things off here, guys, Tyler Toffoli, 41% rostered left wing, right wing eligibility. He's got 4 games on the schedule for next week. Minnesota, Anaheim, Edmonton, and Columbus. And he's playing on line 2, I guess, with Suzuki and Evans and power play 1. The Habs aren't very good. We know that. They started off slow this year. But Tyler Toffoli has actually, he had 9 points and just 3 goals in his first 20 games, but he's picked it up over his last 10 games. He's got 12 points and 4 goals. He's on pace for 59 points this year. He's seeing a career best 55% power play share. His individual shooting percentage of 10% is actually below his 3-year average of 13.7. And his team's even strength shooting percentage with him on the ice is just 6.1%. So he's kind of suffered from a bit of poor luck there. I think we're going to see some solid production out of him moving forward, and he's still available in around 60% of leagues. So give him a look.
Good trade target for Edmonton.
I'd take Tyler Toffoli.
Just saying.
Yep.
Just saying.
What would it cost? I don't know.
McDavid.
Oh, God.
Here we go.
John.
I forgot to post the meme.
Put him on the list.
Yeah, okay.
Next.
We'll move on. Next. We got Ryan Johansen here, rostered in 40% of Yahoo leagues. He's got 2 games on the schedule for next week, like we said, Seattle, Edmonton. He's been playing with Tolvanen and Kunin as well as power play 1. Ryan Johansen, he's been great for them. He's had a real bounce back season. He's having the best offensive season he's seen since 2018-2019 when he posted 64 points and 14 goals. He's on pace for 69 points right now, Tyler.
Nice.
And he's going to challenge for his career high of 26 goals on the season. And this guy's only 40%.
Career high of 26 goals for $8 million a year. Good.
Yeah.
John, put him on the list.
I didn't say it was a great value
I'll
add.
agree to that one.
Just garbage. But they were so bad, him and Duchesne last year.
Yeah.
Like so bad that even just being mediocre this year would be amazing. And that's what they've been.
And it's been a win. It's been a win for him.
Yeah.
Right?
That's that cap hit though. Yuck.
It's rough. Yeah. And I should mention Johansen's individual shooting percentage is almost 20%. It's well above his 3-year average too. So, and same with his team's even strike shooting percentage. That's a bit high. So yeah, there's some luck involved there. Oh, and his secondary assist rate's high. So I guess ride the wave while you can. Yeah.
Because it ain't gonna last long.
But yeah, at 40% rostered, I'd still take a look at that guy. We mentioned him earlier in the show, Ivan Barbashev. He's 69% rostered at the time of writing.
Nice.
That wasn't intentional, Tyler. He's got 3 games on the schedule for next week. Calgary twice and once against Winnipeg. He's been playing on that top line with O'Reilly and Shen, who actually Shen at 55% roster is another player you should look at, particularly if your league counts hits and PIMs. But back to Barbashev, he's got try eligibility, which is rare. And he's actually been the 22nd. He's 22nd in league scoring since December 1st, with 20 points and 7 goals in 16 games played. He had a 4-point game here recently, 2 goals, 2 assists, and he scored 13 points, 5 goals in his last 10 games played. There's some things there with his individual shooting percentage and some of the metrics that are suggesting he's either going to regress or it's not sustainable long term. But the Blues' power play is also second in the league at 29.5%, and they're 9th in points percentage league-wide. So lots of things there to like about Ivan Barbashev. If he's still available, give him a look. Do we get the John stamp of approval? Okay.
Yes, we do.
Excellent. Next up, we got Brock Nelson. He's rostered in 16% of Yahoo leagues. He's got 4 games on the schedule: Philly, LA, Seattle, and Minnesota. Playing on the second line with Bellows and Beauvillier and power play 1. He's got 6 points, 4 goals in his last 9 games played as of Saturday evening. He's getting time in the first power play unit and the top 6 for the Islanders. They've got lots of games in hand, Bruce, as you mentioned earlier. So an advantage there. He's a nice volume option in terms of games played, and then he's on pace for 39 goals. Yeah, he's done pretty well. Not saying he's going to hit there. I think he probably lands somewhere in that 27 to 30 goal range. But for a guy who's just 16% roster, that's pretty good production, I'd say. John's shaking. Is he on the list, John?
No, I just...
You love Brock Nelson.
No,
too.
I don't. I don't.
Not you. Devin
Oh
does.
yeah, Devin does. I'll agree to
Yes,
that.
forever.
I've rostered him once or twice.
Oh,
Never.
God, every time. Brock Nelson.
I don't know. It's just he hasn't impressed me. I don't care what you say.
Very solid explanation.
You
there.
could throw out some facts, and I still wouldn't listen.
I know. I'm aware.
Cuz.
Yeah. He doesn't like him. That's okay. For our listeners, though, who may like him because he scores goals, give him a look. And then we'll move on to Victor Arvidsson of the Los Angeles Kings. 42% rostered, 4 games on the schedule. He's playing on the second line with Deneau and Moore and power play 1. He's having his best season since 2018-2019 when he posted 34 goals in 54 games. Similar to that season, Arvidsson is taking 3.4 shots on goal, but this season his individual shooting percentage at 7.7% is well below his career average of 11. So don't expect 35 goals out of this guy necessarily this year, but he's been pretty good. And with 4 games on the schedule for next week, I'd give him a look. What do you think, Bruce? You like Arvidsson?
I did. I actually picked him up for today. He scored a goal.
Okay.
Which currently puts me ahead of Tyler in our one league.
Oh yeah, you guys are battling it out right now.
Fuck.
What's the point? What's the spread there?
I am currently up by 14.
Sorry, Tyler.
just demoted. Like, oh.
I was down by like 60 earlier in the week, so.
Nice.
I need Tarasenko and Thomas to do something.
Yeah, I've got Thomas in one league too, and he's kind of been useless today, hey?
Oh, there is 3 minutes left in the Florida-Seattle game, and Seattle is up by 1.
Something wrong with that.
Interesting. Yeah, that's not right. All right, next up here, Alex Tuck. Which one? Do you have him, John, or is that?
That'd be me again.
I have him in the one league.
I have him in 1 too.
Okay, yeah. He's been great this year too. I think 8 points in 8 games so far. 10 points, 3 goals in 9 games played, and mostly playing on that top line with Dylan Cousins and Jeff Skinner. His individual shooting percentage is high. Teams even strike shooting percentage of them on the ice is high. But he is seeing a career high 57% power play share and almost 19 minutes of ice time. So I think just that move going from Vegas to Buffalo, which we kind of expected, right, guys? Like, he's finally getting some ice time.
Yep.
Good for shifts.
Great for shifts. Got to get those shifts.
Gotta get that.
They got 3 games on the schedule here this week: Ottawa, Arizona, and Colorado. So actually, I like their schedule is pretty good for the upcoming week. They're gonna have some trouble with Colorado, obviously, but
As long as he gets those shifts in.
as long as he gets those shifts,
Who cares what else he does?
Just needs the
it
shit.
doesn't even matter. All right, let's move on to defensemen here. And first up is Alex Goligoski, 30% rostered, 3 games on the schedule for next week. He's playing on the second pairing with Kulikov. He's in the midst of a fantastic season. He's got 23 points, 3 goals, and 32 games played, on pace for 59 points over 82 games. And still just 30% rostered. So if you're in a deep league or you're looking for some help on D, give him some serious consideration because he has performed very well for Minnesota this year. There are some red flags. His individual shooting percentage is inflated relative to his 3-year average, and as is his team's even strike shooting percentage at 12.5%. So some things to note there. But hey, Bruce, that's your team. That's Minnesota. Yeah. Next here, Esa Lindell, 19% rostered, 4 games on the schedule. He's playing on that top pairing with Klingberg. His overall point totals haven't been great, but he's got 6 points, 3 goals in his last 10 games played. And I think if Klingberg gets traded, Tyler, what's your take on that? Do you think Klingberg gets moved by the deadline?
I think so. I don't know where he ends up. It sounds like Florida's in on a lot of guys, and Chekrin too. So
Gotta get those shifts.
To see where. Yeah, gotta get those shifts. Be interesting to. The shifts are probably actually going to go down when he gets there, but
yep.
Be interesting to see where he ends up.
Yeah, and I asked the question because I think when Klingberg does get moved, that's just going to open up more ice time for Lindell. And he's been good, I think, in limited ice time and limited power play time. So if Klingberg's out of there, it just gives him some more opportunity and maybe a guy you want to look at down the stretch here. This one I kind of got mixed feelings on is Josh Morrissey. He seems to always kind of let you down, or you expect more out of this guy, but
he's good enough that you just can't drop him.
It's tough, yeah. He's in his last 10, he's got 7 points, 1 goal. He's playing over 25 minutes. He played over 25 minutes in his last 2 games. He does contribute to hit. Well, you got to get the shifts. Got to get them. But he does contribute to hits and blocks too, and shots on goal. And he's playing on the top pairing. So there's lots to like about Morrissey, but I always find myself wanting more out of the guy. And then Mike Matheson. He's been playing well lately. 5% roster. He's got 4 games on the schedule for next week. He is playing third pairing minutes, but he's got 6 points, 3 goals in his last 3 games, and 11 points in his last 15. So pretty good production there out of a third pairing guy that I just didn't see that kind of production.
Especially over 15 games. That's a substantial window of games there. So
I've got him more pegged as a short-term streamer. Like, I don't think that production's going to persist, but take a look if you need some help, like for next week, 4 games. If you need a streamer on D, take a look. And then let's talk some goalies.
Where's Bouchard?
Oh, you know what? Good question. Good
How did
question.
you leave Booch off here?
Well, yeah, so let's talk about that quick. He had 2 goals, right? With Barry out.
Played like 24 minutes.
Finally.
Got to get those shifts.
Gotta get those shifts. But seriously, he's got to play more. We've been saying that all year. He's got to play more minutes. And with Barry out, he finally got a chance.
Barry's got the full body injury, as opposed to the upper or lower.
He's got them both.
He's got both.
He's got total coverage on that injury.
He's just out.
He's just out.
So, I mean, maybe this is kind of a catalyst to keeping Bouchard where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And maybe they just trade Barry.
So what are you trading Barry for?
A new team bus.
Third line center. Third line center is probably what you want to get out of that. With a little bit of term at a decent cap hit.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Well, we've got enough, like if Bouchard can take the power play time, we have enough defensive prospects coming up. They can cover off his minutes at even strength.
Yeah, I think you want more of a defensive defenseman kind of in that spot anyway. So
yeah, agreed.
Ben Sherratt would be a good pickup for that kind of spot. I know he's a left shot as opposed to a right, but somebody like that would be ideal.
Yep, good point there. Bouchard's been good. Whenever he's given a chance, he's produced. And 2 power play goals.
He's got 21 points in 37 games. It's pretty decent.
Pretty good, yeah.
And I mean, he's had games where he played 12 minutes, 17 minutes. Then he had the last game there was 24. He has a couple 23s in there, but pretty decent point production for a guy that's not really playing top 4 minutes. So,
yeah, that valid point, Tyler. I should have had him here in the notes for defenseman. So I don't even know what his ownership's at right now. We should take a look at that quickly here.
It's less than 40%.
38 and
I've been wanting
38% in Yahoo.
I have both Barry and Bouchard on one of my teams, and I've been trying. I want to drop Barry, but he's like 90% owned, so I should be able to get something from him. It's just that everybody else in our league is all Oilers fans, so I don't think I'm going to get anything. So I'm hanging on.
They all know. Yeah,
They all know. They all know
better. Okay, well there you go. Little bonus entry there. I like that one.
But if you have Barry on your team, and given how low of a percentage of ownership that Bouchard has, if you could trade Barry to somebody who's not like from here,
sure,
from around here, or an Oilers fan,
Western Canada in general,
do it and pick up Bouchard, and you're gonna be that much further ahead with those moves. So
I just hope this is the starting point. I hope Tippett goes, yeah, you know what? Probably I should play that kid power play 1, and let's just move Barry.
I hope it is too, because with like Barry can snap the puck around on a power play with everybody else, but the fact that Bouchard actually wants to shoot the puck and he can get it through, he has that innate ability that not a lot of guys have to actually get it through to the net. So and it's a heavy shot too.
It is a heavy shot.
Got to get Draisaitl those points.
God.
Draisaitl does that on his own just fine. Okay.
Lazily.
Okay, moving on to goaltenders then. And starting with Vitek Vanacek, 55% rostered, 3 games on the schedule for next week. Like we said earlier, he's now started 7 of the last 8 games for Washington. We kind of think he may be just creeping into that starting position for the Capitals. He's got a .261 goals against average and a .911 save percentage in those 7 games. I think just given how well Washington has produced, they're always there. They're always competing for the division. Probably a good guy to look at. And actually his PK save percentage, going back to that again, is only .845. So there is some room there for some positive regression. So we like him moving forward.
I hope he plays well. I picked him up like 20 minutes ago.
Did you?
Yeah. Actually, when you were asking me about him, I was in the process of making my lineup work. I needed to get rid of an IR slot, and I needed to get rid of Jonathan Quick. So
this is a common occurrence on the show. I'll be yakking about something, and the other 3 guys are just checking the waiver wire. Okay, good for you. Good for you, John. I got Sam Montembeault here as well, but of course he is injured right now. But with Jake Allen out for 8 weeks, assuming Montembeault's injury isn't long-term, you're going to get some volume there. And granted, it's the Habs. They're not great. But if you need a goalie, take a look. Over his last 5 appearances, he's posted just 1 win, but a 3.17 goals against average, a .926 save percentage, and a 2.57 goals saved above average. So I'd be selective with the starts with him. But could be some value there anyway. Any hot takes there? No. And then Peter Mrazek, 38% roster. They've only got 2 games on the schedule for next week. He's in a clear backup role, but I think now they've got a condensed schedule coming up for the Maple Leafs. And so I think he's going to get a few more starts. They don't want to overwork Campbell either going into the playoffs. And Mrazek was pretty good yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Day before, yeah.
Day before, whenever they played last, and he did win that game, and he looked pretty good. So take a look at him. Obviously, we like Ville Husso. We talked about him earlier in the Ask the Hacks segment. Pavel Francouz, Kaapo Kähkönen. Like, Kähkönen is still just 50% owned, Bruce.
I know.
Surprisingly.
It is.
Bruce is all 50%.
Maybe.
Yeah. Aiden Hill, 35% rostered. He's been pretty good for the Sharks, and Reimer, I think, shit the bed again in his last start, if I'm not mistaken.
Trash.
So, again, opens the door for Hill to just take over more starts.
Earlier, when you were giving me the gears about the stats for Binnington,
okay, yeah.
I did look them up now. The guy's garbage.
It took an hour?
But the guy's been garbage for years. Like, I don't know how he ever gets mentioned for Team Canada on anything. Like,
because there's not a lot of options.
No.
At this point.
We need to sign some, I don't know, get some Canadian Russian players and
Oh, jeez.
and I'd be happy. Like,
just adopt one of them.
Exactly. Binnington this year, he's got a 305 goals against with a 906 save percentage. And Husso is a 202 with a 938. Grant, he's played half the games that Binnington has, but Binnington's just been bad.
Just bad.
Yeah.
As Tyler would say.
So,
stole my
with
line.
the guy's question from Ask the Hacks, yeah, absolutely, I'd take Husso over Binnington. 100%.
Okay.
100%.
You heard it here.
Husso's taking over.
See, I was just waiting for a hot take from you, John.
Well,
there it is.
Yeah, it only took an hour, but welcome.
I told you I was setting my lineup.
Bruce took John's internet. Now John has Bruce's internet.
I'm like the Internet Explorer guy, okay?
Yeah. Loading.
Hey, so yeah, that's we actually pretty solid episode here, guys. Nobody cut out, so I think the upgrades on the internet front were well worth it, Bruce.
Absolutely.
Look at us.
Oh, hey,
Shout out to Shaw.
Yes, shout out. Well, yeah, but Bruce, you want to give a shout out to your guy?
Oh yes, Mark coming from Sastel. He's excuse me. Oh,
He's all choked up. It's emotional for him.
I have really good internet.
You did
Mark.
such a good job. You did such a good job.
No, he was telling me he was in a competitive keeper league, so he's gonna maybe take a listen to the podcast. So shout out to him for
So if
getting
he's
me hooked
listening
up here, and we'll be uploaded well before midnight tonight.
Yeah, so I want to thank him because that's going to cut down on my editing time substantially.
We all thank him.
We all thank him.
Great work, Sastel.
Good stuff.
You done good.
You done good.
But now,
all right, guys. Well,
to afford our new internet, Kent, we know you're listening. I got to get my shameless plug in here. Come on, Kent. You know you want to.
Yeah, we were joking about this on Friday. Yeah. Anyway, that concludes episode 44, NHL Week 16 Waiver Wire picks. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Be sure to check out the website for all the news and notes and links and all that good stuff, fantasyhockeyhacks.com. Give us a follow on Twitter at FHHacks, on Instagram at FantasyHockeyHacks. Follow those links in the show notes because we got to cover off Tyler's gambling habits and cover off the internet, as John just mentioned. Keep submitting those questions, guys. Hashtag #AskTheHacks or send us an email, fantasyhockeyhacks@gmail.com, or just reach out to us on social media. We'll get your question in here and we'll get you entered into the draw for a free subscription at Left Wing Lock.
Might take an hour to answer it, but we'll answer it.
We will answer it in depth, in detail.
Dude, it's trash. Don't take him.
Yeah,
but this guy's good. I looked it up with my high-speed internet.
It's good 6 years ago. But
all right, boys, another solid episode. We'll talk to you next week.
bye, Felicia.
See you later.
Take care.